All right, it is 2 p.m. Let's go ahead and get started. This is the State Expedited Accusations calendar in the State Court of Fulton County, Georgia. Is anyone at courtroom 2 before we start? Ms. Bridgewater, what's my reset date?
Before I give it to you, Judge, I have a confession, just like Usher in the Super Bowl tomorrow. I gave the wrong date for the SAP calendar earlier this week. So for those who attended court Monday through Wednesday, the correct date is February the 20th. Today is going to be February the 22nd.
Okay.
So
All
I'm
right.
hoping the attorneys all hear that. So
All right. I don't see any members of the public defender's office on the line. Are they at the jail? Okay. Oh, at the jail.
there you
At
go.
the jail. Okay, I think we can get started. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the State Expedited Accusations calendar in the State Court of Fulton County, Georgia. I am Judge Melanie Williams, and today is February the 10th of 2024. All defendants, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say regarding the facts of your case can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney at these proceedings. This proceeding is being broadcast over the internet as a live stream. It's also being recorded. That means any member of the public can log on and watch. When I ask if you understand your rights, that's what I am referring to. Those who receive a surety or cash bond will be reset to the state all-purpose calendar on February the 22nd, whereby your case and certain aspects of it will be revisited if you have not yet posted bond. Those who receive a signature bond, whether through pretrial or the jail, will be reset per the notice. Have all attorneys had the opportunity to interview their clients?
Judge, we're all prosecutors that are on here as attorneys, myself.
Right, they're at the jail. So defense attorneys at courtroom 2, have you conducted all your interviews?
Yes, we have, Your Honor.
All right, wonderful. All right, let's begin.
Oh, Ray. Anderson. Yeah.
Are we ready to take courtroom 2 to take someone? Anyone?
We have position number 18.
Number 8?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good afternoon. Your case number is 24 CR 0000699. You're charged with battery family violence. Do you understand your rights?
Well,
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have the history, please? If you're speaking, Mr. Howard, we can't hear you.
can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right. 19 total. 2022 possession of tools for the commission of a crime. Theft by taking. 2021 theft by taking. 2021 probation. 2021 criminal damage to property. Possession of a Schedule 1. 2019 possession of tools, criminal damage to property. Theft by taking conviction. That's all.
All right, Ms. Riddick, please proceed.
Good morning, Judge, and I want the court to be aware that our victim in this case, Ms. Jaquita Edwards, is in fact online. Ms. Edwards, if you will privately send me your number in the chat, I would appreciate it. Your Honor, should this case go to trial, the state believes it would be able to prove that on August 3rd, 2023, incident location is 179 Swanee Avenue Northwest in Atlanta. Officer, the incident occurred. The defendant and the victim got into a verbal altercation that changed and became violent, with the defendant placing his hands on the victim's neck and choking her. When she returned to her home at 138 Lamar Avenue Northwest in Atlanta, she called law enforcement officers. Officers arrived on scene and noted visible injuries on her neck. The victim and the defendant share a minor child, which is a female. Our bond recommendation for this defendant, because of the number of cycles he has, is $5,000. Stay away from the victim's home on Lamar Avenue, Northwest in Atlanta. No further contact with Ms. Edwards. If the defendant wants communication with the shared child, he must legitimate the child and then use a third party to contact the victim. No guns, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond, and a 1-day anger awareness class.
Okay, Miss Edwards, if you'd like to make a statement, I need you to turn on your camera, raise your right hand. You are not required to, however, but please raise your right hand if you'd like to speak. Do you wish to speak? Okay, you don't wish to speak. Okay. All right, Mr. Ty?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 42 years old. He has lived in Georgia all his life. He is the father of 3 minor children. For the last 6 years, he's worked as an electrician. I did speak with the complaining witness. She states that they do not live together, but she does want contact with my client. I know he has some history, but there's no violent history. So I think a $5,000 surety bond is too high. He does have to take care of the 3 minor children and get back to work. I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services and object to the 1-day anger awareness. Although if he can get a signature bond through pretrial services, I'm sure he would be willing to do a 1-day anger awareness, Your Honor. Again, he doesn't have any violent history. He's never had any, violent charges. So I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services, no violent contact with the complaining witness, nothing further.
All right. Defendant will receive a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services level 3. He is to take the 1-day anger awareness course. He's to have no contact with the alleged victim at this time. Of course, contact can be revisited at a later date. For now, he can coordinate transfer of the children or child through a third party. Additionally, he's stay away from that incident location, have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Is there any additional?
Yes, sorry, Your Honor. The complaining witness states to me that she doesn't live at the incident location. It's my client's home, so I would object to the stay away.
Your Honor, we asked for a stay away from 138 Lamar Avenue, which would be the
Right, I'm sorry, I should not have said the incident location. Should have said the home of the alleged victim. So that is the stay away address, not the Swanee Avenue.
And what
All
is
right.
that address again?
Ms. Riddick, will you put it in the chat for Ms. Bridgewater?
I will, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes your case. Best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
May I leave the room?
Next, we have position number 1, Alex.
Yes, you're free to go at this time. All right.
Thank you.
All right. I'm sorry, position 1, Alexis Allen. Is that the position?
Yes.
All right. Your case number is 24 CR 000692. In this case, you're charged with battery family violence. You understand your rights?
Yes.
All right. As this is first arrest, we will go straight to Mr. Stevens.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, if we were to go to trial, the state believes they'd be able to prove that on November 13th, 2023, Miss Lana Stokes, the victim, came home to find Miss Allen in the apartment with an unknown male. She asked Miss Allen to then leave, which Miss Allen complied, but then came back later in the day to get her belongings, along with bringing Miss Allen's mother and Miss Allen's brother. At some point, Miss Stokes ended up on the ground. Miss Alexis Allen jumped on top of her and grabbed the victim's neck, digging her nails in and causing deep scratches, as well as leaving a bruise on the victim's cheek. Given the nature of the offense, that's the family violence, even though she has no previous history, we were asking for a $3,500 surety bond, a stay away from the 3000 Stone Hogan Con Southwest apartment R15, and have no further contact with the victim.
All right. I'm sounding for Ms. Stokes at this time. If you're present and wish to make a statement. All right. I don't see anyone with that name. And had your office had any contact with Ms. Stokes, Mr. Stevens?
No, Your Honor, not at this time.
All right. And I can't see who that is at courtroom two. Who's there who represents this defendant?
Attorney Pulliam, Your Honor.
All right. Good afternoon. Please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, Miss Allen she does have a valid address in the greater Atlanta area. It is not the exact location that this incident allegedly took place at. And so, she stays the address with her mother as well as siblings. She is gainfully employed. She's been working as a housekeeper, at the Greater Extended Stay America. And she's been doing that for a number of months. She doesn't have any medical issues or serious medical concerns. She's also currently in college at Atlanta Tech. And so we would ask for a signature on bond for Miss Allen. Again, this is her first arrest. We do not object to the stay away from the alleged victim, Ms. Stokes, or the alleged incident location.
All right. Defendant is going to receive a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. She's to have no contact with Ms. Stokes. Stay away from that address on Stone Hogan Connector and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything additional?
Nothing for the picture, Your Honor.
All right. Best of luck to you, sir. I mean, ma'am.
Thank you. Next,
Take
we
care.
have position number 4, Delwell Terrence.
Position 4.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with my sound. My apologies. All right, your case number is 24 CR 0000695. In this case, you're charged with deposit account fraud. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard. Mr. Howard, if you're speaking, we can't hear.
Can you hear me now?
I can. Am I the only one having hearing challenges
Yeah,
today
I'm
with
trying
this?
to-
I think the Zoom is doing something very strange with our sound. If you wouldn't mind almost shouting, Mr. Howard, so we can hear you. Nope. I can hear you when you say still can, but that's about all we can hear.
All right,
Now we can hear you. Don't move. Go ahead. What now?
put my head. Hold on. I got 5 total.
5. Okay. Nope.
And Your Honor, I do have the cycles if that'd be helpful.
Okay. Mr. Howard, why don't you log out and come back and see if that makes it better? Mr. Stevens, why don't you give us this history?
Yes, Your Honor. So to my knowledge, she has 5 total cycles. There was 1 arrest in 2013 for theft by shoplifting and willful obstruction. That was null pros. Driving without a license in 2015. That was null pros. She was arrested for a simple battery and a marijuana possession less than 1 ounce in 2015. The simple battery is null pros. She was convicted on the marijuana less than 1 ounce. And then she has 1 probation violation in 2016.
Okay. All right. Your recommendation, Mr. Stevens.
Yes, Your Honor. If we were going to trial, the state would prove or have enough to be able to prove that Ms. Dowell went to several wood forest national bank locations over the course of about a month, specifically at this incident location at 970 Mansell Road in Roswell. She gave a check from Custom Windows and Sidings for the amount of $908.16 on August 3rd, 2022. By August 4th, the next day, the check had returned as a closed account. Wood Forest has sent a demand letter for the overdrawn amounts as of August 26, 2022, and has not received anything back. We are asking for a $5,000 surety bond. The reason for that is the risk of reoffending. As I said, there was multiple locations that we went to. According to the warrant, across all locations, there was a total of about $5,356 that was withdrawn over all locations. So we believe that the risk of reoffending is high, as well as not a threat to danger of the person or the community, but a threat to the property. Again, if she's going to multiple locations, taking out money from multiple banks. So that's why we were requesting that $5,000 surety bond.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay. You can go ahead. I'm thinking. Go ahead.
this is Ms. Dowell, Your Honor. She does have a valid address in the greater Atlanta area. She is gainfully employed. She works at Cockle Mac, and she has been there for a number of years, Your Honor. We would object to a $5,000 surety bond. We would ask for a signature on bond. As previously mentioned, it looks like according to ASG Stevens's recitation of her cycle, she only has one conviction for marijuana possession less than 1 ounce. All the other ones were null pros. And so she doesn't, and additionally, does not look like she has any violent history convictions. And so we would ask for a signature on bond. We do not object to, and I've spoken to Ms. Dow about this, of staying away from that bank and its branches, Your Honor. And so again, we would just ask for a signature on bond. If the court is not so inclined, then we would request the lowest possible surety bond.
Okay, all right. Defendant is going to receive a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. And she is to stay away from all branches of that. What was it? Woodbury? What was the name of the bank?
Wood
Wood
Forest
Forest.
National Bank.
Okay, from that bank, and have no alcohol, no drugs, or no weapons. All right, that concludes your case. Best of luck to you.
Next, we have position number 5, Flores Martin.
All right, good afternoon. Your case is 24 CR 0000696. You're charged with simple battery against an officer and simple battery. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Is Mr. Howard back? I have it. This is first arrest.
That's what I have as well, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Howard is not back. All right, Ms. Hudak, please proceed.
Thank you. These allegations do stem from incidents that occurred on February 9th at the Tongue and Groove, which is a bar, 565 Main Street in the city of Atlanta. The defendant was in the bar and it came to the officer's attention that he had caused a fight and without provocation punched the victim, I'll spell the first name, A-O-U, last name Bugarda, B-O-U-G-A-R-D-A. Punched Mr. Bugarda twice in the face on the dance floor. The defendant was asked to leave. He was obstructive. He continued to stand in the doorway, preventing others from leaving the premises. He was asked again to get out of the way, and he responded by shoving Officer Adrian Williams in the back, causing her to move forward. This is his first arrest. We are recommending a $3,000 signature on bond, $1,500 at each count, Your Honor. Stay away from Tongue and Groove. No further contact with the victims, which is Officer Adrian Williams and Mr. Bugarda, and certainly no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, is Mr. Bugarda on the line and wishes to make a statement? All right, based upon the information before me, I'm inclined to accept the recommendation of the state and give this defendant a signature bond through the jail, $3,000, with the requirement of the stay away from Tongue and Groove and no contact with either of the alleged victims, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there any objection?
There's no objection, Your Honor. One second, I think.
I can't
Also, Your Honor,
imagine.
when you break it down, there are two
Yes.
charges.
Yes, ma'am, 1,500 each count. I can't imagine there would be an objection here as I'm sending the signature bond through the jail.
There
But
is no objection to that, Your Honor. According to Mr. Flores, he says that he's already paid his bond amount. And so,
well, okay, so he should be released. Either way, does anybody, we can't even check to see, can we?
I just wanted to see if maybe, if I could get a refund from that or.
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know if we can look it up to see if the bond has already come through. Miss
Okay.
Holly, we can't check that. Odyssey is down. So I don't know, but you're getting a signature bond from me. So what happens with the bonding company, I don't know. And we have no way to check because of our systems being down. Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care. All right, who do we have next?
Next, we have position number 6, Garrison Christopher.
All right, good afternoon. Your case is 24 CR 0000697. You're charged with criminal trespass and are you there?
I know there's some mobility issues with Mr. Garrison. I don't know if he was brought up from the intake. He's an intake. I can waive his presence, Your Honor, for Mr. Garrison.
Did he tell you he wanted you to waive it? I can't waive it if he didn't tell you that and you don't send me something affirming that waiver. So I think he still technically needs to be brought.
I understand.
All right, can we go to another position? We'll come back to position 6. Hopefully we can have that person brought.
Yes, next we have position number 7, Hill Robert.
All right, Mr. Hill, your case is 24 CR 0000698. You're charged with battery, family violence, and theft by taking. Do you understand your rights? Is that a yes? You understand? All right, Mr. Howard, you're back. Can I have the history for position 7, please?
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Thank you.
Okay. 4 total, 2012 burglary, not prosecuted. 07 forgery, first degree. You got first offender for that.
All right, thank you. Ms. Hudock, please proceed.
This incident stems from behavior that occurred on January 22nd of 2024. Police were dispatched to 2909 Campbellton Road for the report of a dispute. Once they arrived, they spoke to Miss Chastity Hill, that's spelled Chittee Hill. The victim said that while she was outside of her apartment near her vehicle, she was assaulted by her husband, Robert Hill. She stated that he hit her in the face over and over again until she fell on the ground. During the assault, he took her phone and her keys and left the apartment complex. Officers observed bruising to her face that eventually turned into a black eye. Your Honor, the state is concerned about future violence as it was reported that they are going through marital difficulties. Because of that, we are asking for a $5,000 surety bond, $2,500 on each count, no further contact with Chastity Hill, and a stay away from 2909 Campbellton Road.
Is Ms. Hill present and wishes to make a statement? And has your office had any contact with Ms. Hill?
We have not, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ty, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 46 years old. He has lived in Georgia all his life. He works as a landscaper for Clark Atlanta University and also runs a cleaning business. He also provides care for his elderly mother who suffers from severe dementia. Your Honor, you heard that he's 46 years old and has 4 cycles. The last was 2012, which was not prosecuted, and then 2007. So, more than 12 years ago for something that was not prosecuted, and then, in 2007. So I would say there is no criminal history that is worth, that would, call for a surety bond in his case. And he's fine with the stay away and no further contact. I'm asking for a signature bond through the jail so that he can get back to work and caring for his mother, who does rely, on him being there to take care of her. And the incident date was also about a month ago. He does deny the allegation. So I would ask Your Honor for a signature bond. Stay away is fine and no further contact is fine, Your Honor. Nothing further.
All right, defendant will receive a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, $2,500 on each count. He is to have no contact with the alleged victim and stay away from that location on Campbellton Road. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and I am going to require the 1-day anger awareness course. Is there anything additional?
Nothing further from defense.
All right.
Nothing further. Thank you.
All right, best of luck to you. Who do we have next?
Position number 13, Tumblin Alexis.
All right, 13. All right, good afternoon. Your case is 24 CR 000703. In this case, you are charged with criminal trespass and possession and use of drug-related objects. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Howard?
Tumbling,
Yes.
2020 probation, 2019 trespass NOLO, 2019, 2018 probation, 2018 trespass or failure to appear, 2017 battery DV trespass. That battery DV was a second subsequent conviction, and a 2014 ag stalk. That's it.
Okay. Ms. Reddick?
Thank you, Your Honor. Should this case go to trial, the state believes it will be able to prove And on February 9th, 2024, at Krogan, Krogman, School Lofts, 1093 West Avenue Southwest in Atlanta, Fulton County. Officers were dispatched to the location and met with the property manager, Ms. Kiri, Kiri, Almendares, Almendares. She advised that the defendant was asleep on the floor in the laundry room after having been previously told that he could not return to the property. Officers that arrived on scene verified that the defendant had previously been issued a trespass warning for the location on January 4th, 2024, case number 2400700714. Your Honor, respectfully, we are asking that this defendant receive $1,000 surety bond, stay away from the Krogman School Lofts, no further contact with the property manager, Ms. Almendares, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while on bond. We actually believe this defendant may be a good candidate for PAD. We're just not in a position to do that today.
That was my question. That was my next question.
We absolutely believe he's a good candidate for PAD.
I agree. We can't do PAD on the weekend, correct? Is that
No.
okay?
But defense counsel, if you email us on Monday, we will sign off on it.
But he will hopefully already have been released by then.
All right, Mr. Ty, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 49 years old. He has lived in Georgia all his life. He did recently become homeless after he was struck by a car in 2021 in a hit and run. He was a pedestrian that sustained severe and permanent injuries. He was in the hospital for several months, wasn't able to walk, but eventually regained his ability to walk, but he did lose his job and is, of course, permanently disabled now. He takes several prescription medications to treat nerve damage, strong painkillers, and sleep aids. I wish that this was a day where he could be released to PAD, but unfortunately that's not available to him today. But he does understand his obligation to return to court. I'm requesting a signature on bond through the jail. He cannot afford a bond, and he does state that he is typically stays at the Evolution shelter, and he can easily stay away from the incident location, have no further contact with the complaining witness, and just really requesting a signature bond. And pretrial would not be the best fit for him, so a signature bond through the jail, Your Honor. Nothing further.
It is Saturday, so a BH is not even possible. Has he received any information from your office, Mr. Ty, about resources so that we don't end up in a similar situation since he can't go through PAD?
Yes, I can supply him with the housing resources sheets that we have here.
All right. I don't love this, but I do believe it's merited in light of the situation. Defendant will receive $1,000 surety. a $2,000 surety bond. Signature bond through the jail. 1,000 each count. He is to absolutely stay away from that location. I didn't write the address down, but those school lofts. And he is to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition of that signature bond through the jail. Is there anything additional?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Best of luck to you. Who do we have next?
Position number 10.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon. Your case number is 24 CR 0000700. In this case, you're charged with simple battery. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Howard, can I have the history for position 10, please?
Fourth arrest. 2021 disorderly conduct conviction, 2020 simple assault, obstruction that was dismissed, and a 2020 terrorist threats trespass dismissed.
Okay. Ms. Reddick? If you're speaking, you're muted, Ms. Reddick.
I had to find my screen, Judge. Your Honor, should this case go to trial, the state believes it will be able to prove that on February 9th, 2024, at 932 Chattahoochee Circle in Roswell, Georgia, Fulton County, officers were dispatched to a domestic violence call. The defendant and the victim, Ms. Corinne, Corrine, Macmillian, McMillian, were in a verbal altercation that became physical and resulted in the D striking the V in her face with a closed fist. Present at the time was the victim's minor child, MR. The child did not see the altercation, but heard it as his room was right next door to the location it happened, the room right adjacent to where it occurred. Your Honor, in light of this information, we are asking for a $3,500 bond, stay away from the incident location, no further contact with the victim, no guns, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, and a one-day anger awareness.
All right, at this time, I'm sounding for, is it Corinne McMillan? If you are present on this Zoom conference and wish to make a statement, this is your opportunity to do so. I don't see anyone with that name. All right, click one more time. All right, no, Mrs. Ty, please proceed.
Okay, yes, Your Honor. My client is 26 years old. He has lived in Georgia all his life. And I will say that with the 4 cycles that I heard, all of them were dismissed other than a 2021 disorderly conduct. So I would say he has very little criminal history. He's lived in Georgia all his life. He did go into foster care at the age of 8 because his father was deported. His stepmom couldn't take care of him and his 3 siblings. Despite growing up in 4 group homes and 2 foster homes, my client graduated from high school, and he's also set to graduate from Atlanta Technical College in May with an associate's degree and a 3.0 GPA. He was working full-time until a month ago when he was laid off. He firmly denies the allegations and states that he called the police because the complaining witness was trashing the home and throwing things around, damaging his property. And she was threatening to kill him, which he had those threats on video and showed it to the officer. Nevertheless, he was arrested. My client has he was recently laid off. So due to the circumstances here and his limited criminal history, I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services. He's fine with the stay away and no further contact. He does need a one-time law enforcement escort.
All right, defendant's gonna receive $1,000 surety bond. He's to have no contact with the alleged victim, stay away from that incident location. He can return one time with a member of law enforcement. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, no alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything additional? All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
We have position number 11, Perkins Nigel.
All right, good afternoon. Your case is 24 CR 0000701. You're charged with simple battery, family violence, and simple battery. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
11 total. 2023 fugitive from justice. 2023 probation. 2018 probation. 2016 FTA on robbery. He got first offender for entering auto in 2016. Got a 2022 carrying concealed weapon out of state. That was a conviction. 2018 falsification conviction. That's it.
All right, thank you, Ms. Reddick.
Your Honor, should this case go to trial, the state believes it will prove that on January 31st, 2024, at Fulton Industrial Boulevard and I-20 westbound in Fulton County, an incident occurred. The incident specifically being that Miss Mercedes Thomas, who is online, Your Honor, called EMS to take her to the Grady Hospital Labor and Delivery Unit. While she was at Grady, officers responded to the hospital and spoke with her. Ms. Thomas advised that she was driving the defendants to his cousin home on Fulton Industrial when the altercation occurred. The defendant asked her for money. She advised that she could not give him the last bit of money she had, at which point the defendant hit her multiple times in her very pregnant abdomen and then in her head. The victim felt lightheaded and dizzy, and that is why she called for an EMS. When officers presented, she was in the labor and delivery. They advised that she was 9 months pregnant, and they were keeping her to ensure that there were no injuries to the child. Your Honor, thus bringing about the 2 charges, one for the battery against Ms. Mercedes Thomas, and another one is a battery on a pregnant woman, which is a high and aggravated misdemeanor. It is our understanding that she was pregnant with the defendant's child at the time of this incident on January 31st. Because there are some things in defendant's history, including a violent case as well as FTAs, we are seeking a total bond of $6,000, $3,000 on each count. We're asking for no further contacts with Miss Mercedes Thomas. If the defendant wants communication with the minor child, which should only be maybe a month, if that old, then he needs to use a third party for contact with the victim. No guns, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. And Your Honor, if the court is so inclined, I would like to inquire whether or not it was a successful delivery or there are other issues that occurred because of this.
All right, Ms. Thomas, if you would like to make a statement, please unmute your screen and raise your right hand. You are not required to make a statement, however. Do you swear and affirm testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down. These are charged as misdemeanor offenses. So that means that the defendant is entitled to a bond today. I'm not sentencing him today, and you will have an opportunity to clarify facts that if you disagree with what Ms. Reddick said, that's not what I'm most concerned with. What I'm most concerned with today is whether you have concerns or fear for your safety and whether you wish to have contact with this defendant. But I will hear a brief statement from you, Ms. Thomas. What would you like to tell me?
Well, I told the police officer that I didn't want to press charges. We just had a whole argument, and it was just the heat of the moment. He never put his hands on me at all. So it was just I was just mad at the point, and to the point as I got so frustrated and so heated, I ended up, feeling contractions to the point as I had to be rushed to the hospital. So I do not want to press any charges against him. I even told the nurses and the officer that when she even called me back.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to make me aware of?
I had a healthy delivery. She is real healthy. And I do want him to have contact because we stay together. So it's nothing going on in this situation.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Thomas. I appreciate you coming to court and making that statement. Mrs. Ty?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 25 years old. He's lived in Georgia all his life. He was set to start a new job at the Brave Stadium when he was arrested on this warrant when he went to get some license for his work. This incident allegedly occurred on the day of his child's birth, which he was present for the entire time. The complaining witness, I was able to speak with her, and as she has stated to the court, nothing physical occurred. And she
Hold on, Mr. Ty. It's kind of hard. I did some.
Sorry.
Everything okay at courtroom 2?
Yes.
Okay, I can hear you now. For a moment, I couldn't hear you behind the background. Go back to about maybe a statement or two. I couldn't hear what you were saying.
Yes, Your Honor. The complaining witness did state that nothing physical occurred and that the lady in the hospital was trying to convince her and also made statements to the officers, which she didn't make the statements. She is adamant that nothing at that time and now that nothing physical happened and it was just a heated verbal disagreement. Again, my client was there present for the entire delivery and birth of his child with the complaining witness. I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services. I understand there's some history, no violent contact with the complaining witness and no stay away because they live together and the complaining witness has stated that they've never had anything physical between the two of them. And she's not in fear of my client.
All right. In light of the information before me, defendant is going to receive a $4,500 surety bond, $3,000 on count 1, $1,500 on count 2. He's to have no contact with the alleged victim. He can coordinate transfer of the child by contacting a third party. Additionally, he's to stay away from that location. He can return one time with a member of law enforcement to get any items. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, no alcohol, or weapons as a condition. And again, his case can be revisited and contact can be reconsidered at the state all-purpose calendar. All right, is there anything additional?
Well,
Can someone put in the chat the address that he's supposed to stay away from, please?
All right.
Defense counsel to place the victim's address in there because that's what the judge is saying he needs to stay away from is her address.
Okay, but I don't get a street number or whatever. I just put from victim's address.
Oh, no, I was asking the defense attorney to put it in there. She knows what it is. Or Miss
Okay.
Mercedes Thomas can put her own address in the chat.
Okay.
All right. Best of luck to you all. Who do we have next?
Position number 12, Richards Kevin.
All right. Good afternoon. Oh, there's a pause. All right, your case number is 24 CR 0000702. Your count charged with 2 counts of obstruction. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
21 total. He got a probation violation from this year. He's on probation and called for ag stalking. 2021 harassing phone calls conviction. He had a robbery from 2014 that was dismissed. 09 battery DV conviction and a 05 CWAC conviction.
Okay. Ms. Reddick.
Your Honor, had this case gone to trial, the state believes it would have been able to prove that on November 27, 2023, one of the crime suppression fugitive units for the state of Georgia was attempting to execute outstanding warrants on this defendant while he was at work at 348 Auburn Avenue, Atlanta in Fulton County. While they were seeking to execute the warrants, they spoke with the defendant's supervisor who said he was at work. Officers looked around the work location, did not see him. As officers were leaving the work location, they spotted a defendant walking nearby. Captain Lewis was the first person to make initial contact with the defendant. On encountering Captain Lewis, the defendant took off running. Sergeant Eddington assisted in pursuit. Officers lost sight of the defendant after he made a couple of turns. On this case, because there are 2 counts of obstruction, we are asking for a total bond of $4,000. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. No further contact with Captain A. Lewis and Sergeant Eddington.
Okay, so they were trying to allegedly catch up with him for that hold that he already has.
Yes, Your Honor, they were executing those warrants on
Okay.
him.
Okay. Let me think. All right, Mr. Ty, in light of the information before me, I'm inclined to give him a signature bond to release him to those holds. Do you have any objection or anything you'd like to add?
Your Honor, I would just say that he states that he doesn't have any holds, and I do see something here that shows that well, I have a case number 22M1236 that that there is not a hold in Cobb County. If the hold's in Cobb County, it looks like that was filed February 7th.
Okay, so no holds or hold. Let's figure that out, because that the only reason for me giving the signature bond would be to go to the holds and effectuate that warrant. So
Well, I'm just saying that I don't think there's a hold, but of course, I can't check and see.
Who is this for, Richards?
yes.
Who said he had a hold?
Well, a warrant at a Cobb, correct? That was they're trying to execute that warrant, correct?
Correct.
Oh, well, he's on probation in Cobb, so maybe that was it.
It was probably the probation violation warrants.
Yeah. I don't see the hold on the GCIC.
Okay.
Hold on. Yeah, I don't.
Okay, well, we'll let the signature bond stand. Defendant will receive a $4,000 signature bond through the jail, $2,000 on each count, with no further violent contact with either of those officers. All right, best of luck to you, sir.
You too. Thank you.
All right, who do we have next?
We have position number 6, Garrison.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Garrison. Your case is 24CR 0000697. You're charged with criminal trespass and damage to property. Do you understand your rights?
Yeah.
Did you hear your rights? You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney, and I'm conducting this hearing over the internet. You understand all that?
I thought you said it was restructured the park.
Wait, let's not do that. Do you understand your rights today? You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Howard?
28 total, 2022 battery failure to appear, 2021 simple battery, 2021 trespass damage, 2020 robbery, simple battery, disorderly conduct conviction, 2018 simple battery, 2017.
That's sufficient. Thank you. Ms. Hudak?
Thank you, Your Honor. These allegations do spring from an incident that occurred on 2/9/2024 at the BP gas station located at 610 Spring Street in the city of Atlanta. Officers were on the property and the defendant had been told at some point not to come back. However, he did and was asking patrons for food or money. At that point, officers observed him pick up a brick and throw it, hitting a vehicle owned by Anna Kostopoulos, Kostopoulos, causing damage to her vehicle. I did notice on the warrant that it looked like he has an outstanding probation violation warrant at 21 CR 006478B, which is Judge Porter. I do believe he is residentially challenged. That being said, we would ask for a $3,000 signature on bond through pretrial, stay away from 610 Spring Street, no further contact with Anna Kostopoulos, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. This is another gentleman that I think would be a great pad referral if he is still in the jail, if there is that probation violation hold. That might be something that defense counsel might want to think about.
All right, I'm inclined to do that signature bond through pretrial at level 3.
That need to go through the jail, Judge. He got a probation hold, so he ain't going nowhere.
That's true.
Yeah, I was gonna actually go to the jail, Your Honor. That'd be my only request.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so it would have to. I don't have an objection to that signature bond through the jail. Any other anything else you would object to with the stay away and the no contact, counsel?
No, Your Honor. And
All right.
actually, for the record, we've also asked that a social worker do come speak to Mr. Garrison. And so I also agree that that would be a good program for him. So
All right. Defendant will receive a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. He's to have no contact with the alleged victim, Ms. Kostopoulos, and stay away from that location. Have no alcohol, no drugs, and no weapons. Is there anything additional?
nothing.
No,
All right. Best of luck to you. So that concludes your case.
Next, we have position number 3.
Okay. All right, good afternoon. Your case number is 24CR 000694. Your case is, in this case, you're charged with simple battery. You understand your rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Howard.
Second arrest, 2019 battery DV, terrorist threats, false imprisonment, pointing pistol at another. That was dismissed.
All right, Mr. Stevens.
Yes, Your Honor, and I apologize. This one might take a little bit longer. So, Your Honor, this charge of simple battery arises out of an incident that occurred on December 16th, 2023 at the location of 1117 Creekside Way in Roswell. Appears that the defendant and the victim being Miss Cayenne CHI_ANN Thomas. They both work together, it looks like at a Waffle House. The victim's brother, name is George, as well as a co-worker named Melissa Knocker. We're trying to get a ride back home using a ride share. The ride share never showed up, so the defendant offered a ride home because they all live at the same location. On the way back to the victim's home, there was a disagreement or a verbal dispute. between the defendant and the victim. When they got to Miss Cheyenne's apartment, the defendant, in front of the two other witnesses, struck Miss Thomas in the head so hard that she lost consciousness. According to one of the witnesses, she lost consciousness and stopped moving and wasn't able to speak for at least 30 seconds. In terms of what the state is asking for, we're asking for a $7,000 surety bond to have no further contact with Miss Cayenne Thomas, who again might be a coworker, as well as a stay away from the victim's apartment.
I need to go back.
There's a couple things to consider. First is the risk of reoffending. He does only have one cycle, and those were no pros, those were felonies, but he also does have, it looks like, another investigation is underway by Gwinnett County PD, what appears to be for excessive use of force. In addition, he also works and lives in the same area as the victim, so there is definitely a risk of reoffending. In terms of threat of danger to the person and community, again, we think that is very high, given that there's 2 prior violent incidents, although only 1 violent arrest. They also, again, work and live in the same area. As finally, there is a risk of intimidation. Again, work, live, same area, 2 prior violent incidents, and he is also a former officer. So we believe all of these things, as well as the fact that he's willing to punch out a woman in front of 2 other people, show that he does not have a fear of being violent in front of others. So we think that there is indeed a risk of re-intimidation. So we would ask you, Judge, not to look at the charge of simple battery, but what the charge is based on, because that will likely be upgraded either to a battery or to a felony once we're able to review the evidence that was collected by the police department.
Okay. All right. All right, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, we have Mr. Bynum here today. Just to start off, we adamantly deny these allegations, Your Honor. Mr. Bynum says that this did not happen, what the state has laid out, and so, we maintain our innocence in this particular case. Just to give you some information, Mr. Bynum does work as a chef currently. He's also currently in school at Aviation Institute of Maintenance. He says he has about a year left before he's able to graduate. Again, we deny all these allegations. There's very limited history at all. From my understanding, it was no cross. And so, a state made a mention that don't look at the charge, but that's exactly what we're here for today, Your Honor, is to look at the charge that they have alleged that Mr. Bynum has committed, not his simple battery. Again, we deny those charges, but we would ask for a signature on bond. It does look like he does qualify for a signature on bond, and so we would ask the court grant that, and if not a signature on bond, then ask for the lowest possible bond amount. We will say that Mr. Bynum no longer works with the complaining witness, Ms. Thomas, any longer, as well as it was mentioned that they stay in the same apartment complex. According to Mr. Bynum, he doesn't think that that's the case any longer. He has no issues, and we have no objections to staying away from her apartment, which my understanding is located in the back of the apartment complex, while his apartment is located towards the front. And so again, we just ask for a signature and bond.
I'm sorry, and I did not sound for that alleged victim. What was her name again?
Miss Keon Thomas.
Ms. Thomas, if you're present and wish to make a statement, this is your opportunity to do so. Do we see anyone with that name? I do not. All right, defendant will receive a $1,500 surety bond. He's to have no contact with Ms. Thomas. Was the state requesting a stay away specifically from her home, or what was the stay away?
Specifically from her home, because yes, we do understand they live in the same complex, whether the back or the front. I believe in the report that he lives on the first floor and she lives on the second, or vice versa, but just stay away from her apartment.
All right, stay away from the victim's home, have no alcohol, no drugs, and no weapons as a condition. Is there anything additional?
Nothing from the picture.
All right, best of luck to you. That concludes your case.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thanks. Yeah.
Next, we have an announcement on position 9.
Okay, the announcement.
Yes, Your Honor, position 9 is a waiver, and I would ask for the YouTube, if it's on, I think it is, to be turned off.
Your Honor, before you turn it off, there was an add-on of Mr. Keyshawn Mitchell. Do you want to address that before you shut the YouTube off?
Is that case gonna be heard today?
Mr. Mitchell is here for bond only. We have already accused it, but when he first appeared on the calendar last Wednesday, the announcement was that felony court handled it, but they did not, in fact, handle this one charge. And his information is not as sensitive as the individual.
Will Mr. Mitchell be brought today?
No, Your Honor.
Is that a medical reset or what happened to Mr. Mitchell?
Yeah, no, you can run this.
Well, if he was supposed to be seen on the felony calendar and he wasn't, and he's been here since last week, I mean, it would be a signature bond through the jail. It would be-
No. He was seen on the felony calendar for other charges.
But not.
We also have a separate misdemeanor charge. And so we were supposed to deal with his misdemeanor charge today.
But still, the Riverside issue would apply and he is
Well,
entitled.
we can debate that. 1 second. Is Mr. Mitchell gonna be brought or not? No? Okay, and what about our announcement for position 2?
What is Mitchell's first name?
I don't remember. I saw that, Adam. What was the name, Miss Reddick?
Keyshawn, Keshaun. Position 2 is Anderson.
Are we gonna see Miss Anderson? Is there
That will be
an,
Mr. Stevens case.
Anderson bonded out.
okay, thank you.
No. No, Mr. Mitchell will not be brought back here today because he wasn't on the full sheet, so
Reset till Monday.
yes.
All right. Let's turn off the live stream so we can do the Wade's case.